What up, fam? Checking out my video for Obsidian's release, Avowed, a title that was released back in February of 2025. It's a single-player action RPG game based in the fantasy world of the Living Lands called the Obsidian Empire, and your objective, the messenger of the Emperor, to go out into the lands to discover what is plaguing his empire. And from here, you're taken to the prologue.
Live, die, and are reborn through the turning of the wheel, in a cycle of reincarnation, watched over by the gods. Your home, the Obsidian Empire, is treasured by Wodica, Our Lady of Law and Vengeance, the Burned Queen. We lack a common purpose, but we could find it in the Living Lands, a rich and lawless island settled by fugitives, wanderers, exiles. Yet the more we free this place from danger, the more the land fights back. Many years ago, you were born to a family in our Obsidian Empire, and in a rare turn of the wheel, you came into this world a godlike, touched by a patron god in the womb. You grew up an outsider, but I saw potential in you. Now I call upon your vow to our empire and name you my envoy. Venture forth in the name of your homeland and secure our future.
And from here, before you really get into the meat of the story, they want you to design and pick your character. It is straightforward and as simple and as complex as you want it to be, but just like with any RPG, you are your character. So, your presets, these are all just various different ones that they put together for people. Your typical class and skill set in most RPG setups, where you've got your DPS or your damage per second, your tanking abilities, your tanks, or your big boys that take a whooping but don't really do a whole lot of damage, and then of course a healer aspect of some array. With that, in addition to, you have your melee abilities, which is more or less hand-to-hand combat. You also have ranged abilities, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's your ability to attack from a distance, and you can do that with either physical damage or magical spell damage, just like any other RPG. And there you go. And this is your introduction to the game.
What do you know of the Living Lands? The rumors and tales are so vexing, they cannot be true, and yet they are. Those untamed wilds, overgrown with the most curious wonders and the most dreadful abominations. There beats a dark pulse within the heart of that soil. Something vile stirs beneath the earth, seething with rot and decay. A corruption growing beyond everything it touches. Its foul tendrils reach towards us, to lash out at the Empire itself. I command you, go to the Living Lands, find the roots, and if necessary, sever them. You are my one boy. Remember your vow. The hopes of an empire rest upon you.
Here, you see the game starts out, your ship has washed ashore of the living lands. You're not quite sure what happened, or the story just kind of picks up from here, and we find out.
You're alive. Thank the gods I pulled you out the wreck when I did. I wasn't about to let the Emperor's envoy die on my watch.
And you see, it's just like any other RPG where it's story-based and your decisions have an impact on how the story plays out. So lean into your character, and that's the fun part of what Avowed brings to the table that I like personally over other games. You kind of have to take the character they give you and build from there. Here you can choose. You can choose to play as a wizard. You can choose to play as a ranger, a warrior, anything that you want, really. And you can tailor make your experience and your class as the story progresses. So if you start out thinking that a wizard's for you and you find that it's just a little more difficult than you were anticipating, you can switch it up and become a physical ranged attack like a ranger and still keep your distance if you don't like melee. Or, of course, conversely, you always have the melee option. So just some things to keep in mind. The game doesn't require you to commit or marry to a paradigm this early on, thankfully. And that's one of the advantages that Avowed has working in its favor, in my opinion, at least. And we're using a wizard. We need to lean towards intelligence, resistances, and elemental damage types. Critical hit chance and critical hit damage. Those are going to be our focal points. But this isn't a class how-to guide. This is just an overview guide of Avowed in general. But from here, we're going to pick perception.
At least the journey's not completely lost. I heard the cannons. I couldn't...
Let's start with names. Who are you? The ship's in splinters. What happened? This can't be Paradise. Where are we? I'm going to take the cordial route.
The name's Garrick, sir.
Garrick.
Portugal, 3rd Adherent Fleet.
Mi nombre es Murdoch.
We spoke on the voyage. I thought we'd end up like this. I've been here before. We've got an outpost on this island, but...
Okay.
Take that dagger. It's no good to...
So, of course, you can play with controls, but I'm playing on Xbox Game Pass PC, so I'm using a keyboard. I wouldn't pay too much attention to the tutorial instructions, but for those interested to see what the keyboard and mouse aspect looks like, this is how it'll play. You'll use F as your interact key. There's a dagger. And your items are going to be highlighted compared to the background, so they'll stick out. They're easy to see, especially as the game moves on. See, like right here, here's a gatherable. So we're going to hit tab, open up our inventory. Here's a quick rundown on how to move about your inventory using a keyboard and mouse. Okay, we have picked up a dagger, palm stone, potion, get it up. We'll go get some more potion here, because there's some in the ground. Fantastique. Oh, Braves. You can bust containers to see if there's loot inside. And you're going to loot most corpses. They'll have a little highlight feature around them. See how they're glowing blue? It means that they have loot on them. And it's typically accompanied by a little tingly jingle sound in the background. A little jingly ding 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 ding. And you'll hear that. That lets you know you're close to some loot, even if you can't see it. There's some parkour aspects to the game. You'll need to run forward, sprint, jump, jump. No, crouch.
Zara shouldn't be here. Haven't the troops been doing patrols? Now you've done it.
Your attack, and then your block or parry.
Watch yourself. There's no healer about.
be careful of the traps.
Springberries.
And throughout the game, you'll find notes, loot. You always want to check every nook and cranny. I mean, odds are, if you can get to it and it's off the beaten path, there's probably something there for you to check out. And you find items as you go that subsequently get better, making your character play better, so on and so forth. You definitely want to read as much literature as you can find, for the sole fact that the information gained in these these logs around the island are imperative into unlocking or progressing further in the story. So it's definitely important to pay attention. You see how these little things are hidden up here? You'll miss them so easily your first time through, that you just instinctively know as you play the game to check in these places. Did you notice what that said? Your armor type, light, medium, or heavy, affects the intensity and recovery time of your reactions to enemy actions. The heavier your armor, the greater your stability against incoming attacks. But if we're making a caster where everything is ranged and you're not intending to get up close and personal, then lighter armor will be just fine.
Surely there's a way to clear those brambles.
Oh, and this is where the jumping part of the game comes into play. And now you can alternate your weapons, run a secondary.
Politics time. With adherence, we respect each other. We're raised to follow rules.
Stay in the tall grass and get the drop on them.
Hope there's a fire spell in there. Barbara's theory in a book.
So you have, when you have it equipped, you hold like you're using the shield button, and it's like a secondary set of skills and spells that you can use. That's pretty cool.
Now, how should we do this?
Your essence is basically your mana. You just have to be mindful of your mana use and consumption, just like you do in every other RPG.
There, in the distance. It's paradise.
It really is a fun game, It has a unique learning curve to it. It's a little more forgiving than other ARPGs, so take it or leave it for what it is. It's a game at face value. It's a lot of fun to play. And from here you get your companions. Kai's your first companion, and the companions just really round out what a full party should be. So if I'm a DPS caster and he's a tank DPS melee, the next companion I get will probably be a healer or something along those lines. So that's pretty much the gist of the game. Here are your waypoints. You open your fast map. Here's your map screen. Here's your map icons. I mean, it's very informative. The game's easy to pick up. There's a lot of information at first, but don't let it overwhelm you. If you've ever played an ARPG, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It just takes a little bit of getting used to. But there's enough redundancy and repetitiveness to make it easy to digest and easy to learn as you go. You can learn it at your own pace, really. All in all, it's a fun game. I have thoroughly enjoyed my time playing Avowed. I will probably play through one more time as a different class, just to see a different take on the game. But beyond that, it's definitely one I recommend, especially if it's one you can get at a good deal on like Xbox Game Pass featured games of the month. So check it out and have fun with it. Let me know what you think. Those that have played it, chime in. Feel free to leave some feedback for those that haven't played it. This is just a basic introduction to the game to let those who are curious about playing know if it's worth checking out or not, and I think it is. Until next time, this is Martyr, and I'm signing off. Thanks again for joining, guys.